Great, welcome again to this new video. This is the third video about errors. So we talked about syntax errors, we talked about exceptions, and now we're going to talk about how to fix an error when you don't understand the message. So let's focus on this error, a zero division error. In case you were good in mathematics, you could easily fix this error, so you'll be able to understand that you cannot divide C by you cannot divide a number by 0. So you'd fix this by removing this expression here. However, if you are not that good in mathematics, you may find this difficult to understand. In that case, the fastest way to fix this error is by copying this line here, Ctrl C. So select it, copy it with Ctrl C or right click and copy there, and then go to Google. Just paste it. Now, on Google, this got around 100,000 results, so Python is very popular, and you'll get a solution for almost every problem that you'll get with Python. So before looking at documentation or asking a question somewhere, it's very likely that someone else has had your issue before, and they have asked a question about that, and there is a solution about that as well. And a very good question and answer website is stackoverflow.com. And almost always when you search for an error on Google, the first results will be from Stack Overflow. Someone has asked a question with this title. It says, I faced an error when I ran the program using Python. So it's the same exact error as you, like that. How to avoid that error, and it also talks about the desired output. And there are two answers for this question. The answer with this green mark here is the accepted answer, and it has the most upvotes, so 11, and this has 2 downvotes, so -2. Actually, the difference between upvotes and downvotes is in the favor of downvotes. So these are two different answers that you can look at. Usually you want to look at the accepted answer that has the solution. However, in this case, this also has the explanation. It says you cannot divide by 0. This causes Python to raise an error. That's still a good answer, and I think it didn't deserve to have this balance of votes. But this one gives a solution on how to handle an error, and that takes us to another concept, which is handling errors in Python. So let's say you have a program, you have a function that gets 2 input values, and then it divides those 2 input values. However, sometimes the user may pass 0 as a second input. And in that case, if you divide, let's say the first value would be 2 and the second value would be 0, your program would crash. And if you want, you can use exception handling to actually avoid that program from crashing. And you can do that with a try and except statement. Anyway, we'll cover that in the next lectures in this section. So this was about searching for an error on Google, and you can easily find the solution to that. As you see, these are very clear questions. It's a big community, and everyone can vote up and down and can comment. So basically, the answers are very accurate. However, you'll not always find an answer on Google. In that case, it's time to ask your own question. So the first thing is, again, you check if you understand the error and fix it if you understand it. The second thing is you do a search on Google, and if the first 2 fail to solve your problem, then it's time to ask a question. And you can ask a question either inside the course. So you can, while watching a video, you can browse Q&A, which stands for question and answer, and you can do a quick search if you find an existing answer to your question here. And if you cannot find it, then you can ask a question, or you can ask a question on Stack Overflow. You can use this button here, ask question, and I'll be happy to help you here on the course interface Q&A section, or other people can also help you on Stack Overflow. However, something is very important to know. The structure of your question is very important on getting a good answer. You know, sometimes there are very bad questions, like, let's say, my code is not working, how do I fix this? And that's all. With that very little information, it's very hard to get a good answer. So it's very important to ask a good question, and I'll show you how to ask a good programming question in the next lecture. So that's a very important lecture as well. See you there.